you just take all this wood that you found, you're foraging in the woods, and you just dump it on the pit, light it with a match, and you got a fire. Just kidding. There's a lot of strategy behind it. You'll see what that is. So when you're starting a fire, you start usually from the littlest sticks to the biggest sticks. And the littlest ones, these are almost too short and almost too thick. So they're not quite exactly right, but you want it matchstick thin. And you want it about the length of your forearm, long. And when you're collecting these, you want them to be preferably dry. So if they snap, they're dry. If they're not snapping right away, it's not going to be easy to light. But then when you find, we're going to go do some searching here and see what we can find. You'll be my partner. When you find enough of these, basically it's your hand is hardly, you have to have a huge pile of it. And some of these are almost, like I said, too thick. Like this is too thick. This is a little bit better. So we're on a search for sticks like that, preferably on the bottom parts of trees where they're not foraged so much, because you don't want to take away from nature too much. Let's go hunt. So on the hunt, and this thing was on the ground, and this probably almost perfect. So you can see, like right here, it snaps. It's about forearm length. A little bit longer is okay. It's pretty thin up here, matchstick thin. So you want to start collecting as much of this size as you possibly can. And the lichen, if it's dry, usually the lichen here, this is lichen, usually burns pretty good too. So we don't want the thick pieces to start this, but we want as many of the thin ones that we can find. But you want them long enough too, primarily because you don't want it to burn your hand when you light this bundle, because this is what's going to be called your bundle. We call it a one match fire. So technically, once you have enough, you should be able to light this with one match. Thanks to Cottonwood Institute, they're the ones that taught me all this. But we don't have just one match, and we're not in a survival situation, but it's still great to start with this bundle. So one thing we've learned since we've left and moved into the RV is use your resources, and not everything is the same everywhere. So especially in Florida, it was hard for us to get a fire started. I don't know, probably because it is a rainforest and it is a little bit wetter here. But trying to find sticks like this is great because it's what I've learned, but we also learned in Florida what burns really great is these old dried out palm tree fronds, or whatever you want to call them. And when they snap like that, these things go up. So this could actually be a great addition to your bundle if you wanted to kind of tear this apart. I haven't actually yet tried this in a bundle, so we're going to try that for the first time with you guys. So we're going to get a lot of these, and then I think we're going to be good with our bundle, because these burn very well. I'm excited. This should start really great with this. Don't be afraid of bugs. You can jump and run and scream, because I will, but you still have to come back in here and get them. Because believe me, there are spiders. You should be afraid of gators, though. You can see the sun went down. It's definitely a lot cooler. I put on some warmer clothes because it is cooler, so it's time to start a fire. Here, we're pretty lucky. We've got lots of wood that we can collect, so we collected it. You can see this big old pile right here. What I've done here, I already have a little bit of piles that I've started. You want to kind of start with your littlest, or actually our fire bundle over there. Kenny's going to analyze it with the camera. You can see I put some of the palm tree leaves or fronds in the middle of that. And then you just go with like your smallest to the next kind of size, to the bigger, to the bigger, to the bigger. It does not have to be perfect. Don't make it perfect. In fact, if you get something that's really big and you can't break it, because you also don't want to injure yourself. If you can't break it easy enough and you don't have a saw or a hatchet, don't burn it. That's simple. Also, these little pieces here, you want to kind of separate them into piles, you can, but once you have enough of a pile, you don't have to separate every single piece. But it's just a brilliant way to start, because the more preparation you put in ahead of time, the easier it actually is to start your fire, and then you can get warm and toasty and have a good craft beer, or s'mores, or whatever you want. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start a fire. If you're like us, we don't always have wood in the camper, and you're probably like us because we don't have a lot of space in the camper. And I'm pointing at the camper, and Kenny's not getting the message to show the camper.
Camper.
So we don't carry wood with us everywhere. Sometimes we'll buy it, And then we'll have a big old package of wood, and that's hard to start if you don't have kindling, like your smaller pieces. So even if you bought a huge chunk of wood from a store or a campground host, you still need to have some sort of kindling. So even that could be a fire starter, which we do have some little pieces of fire starters that we bought at the store. You can use that if you'd like, but ideally you want to start with little pieces of kindling and try to get up to bigger. So even if you have the big chunks of wood, you need to kind of, as best as you can, follow this technique. So what you want to start with first is probably some of these kind of smaller pieces. And again, nothing has to be perfect here. And you want to kind of make a little teepee-ish thing. You know, get your engineering, architectural skills going a little bit. And any little pieces that might burn easy, you want to kind of shove in there. I don't really know how well this will burn. It's something new to this region and I don't know it. So we'll find out. And the key is if you have a little opening there, you have your bundle. Remember earlier I said your bundle will be pretty big, like you'd have to hold it almost with two hands. This one is. Your key, and I'm probably going to knock this over when I put it in, is to be able to light this like you would a match, and fire needs fuel to burn. So if you're going to light this like this, it doesn't have anything to burn. So you want to light it down like this, but you also don't want to stick your lighter right next to your hand and burn it. That's kind of stupid too. Sorry, not stupid, but silly. So you want to light, you can use a match if you'd like, but a lighter is really easy. And you want to get it kind of the inside, you don't want to, and hopefully you have thin enough pieces of wood. Okay. And once you have it lit, you want to kind of turn it, keep an eye so it's not going to burn your hand, but you need to get this bundle started as a bundle, because if you drop it right now, it's all going to be separate. Watch your hand. Okay, you want to put it, you have it right there, then you can put these other little pieces hopefully over it. And like I said, those palm tree things burn fast, so those are great ways to start. And then you get your other little pieces going, which is why if you have it prepared to start, hopefully this will catch. This is not guaranteed to catch yet. But you can see how fast that one little bundle starts to burn. And if that bundle can burn for a little while, then you can get the bigger sticks to burn. These things rock. I want these in Colorado. You don't want to go up too fast with the big sticks either, because they just won't burn. Fire also needs oxygen to burn, so you don't want to suffocate it by putting too much on there. It's a little bit too far spread out for my liking. It's like your little baby when you first start out. You have to keep continuously taking care of it. Don't crash. I got a very, I don't know, precariously balanced pyramid thing going here. So a lot of people at this point want to put on these bigger sticks like immediately. And sometimes that's too much and it suffocates them. If you've noticed that these smaller ones are kind of catching, that's what you want. If these smaller ones are catching, then it's going to stay, and you want to kind of keep adding into your pyramid a little bit, a couple more smaller ones. Again, don't suffocate them, don't just plop a lot of things down. It's strategy. I don't think reaching over the fire like that was probably the best thing to do, so just be aware of where your hands are at all times, because that one was probably not too smart. Just remember, with like the pyramid, when you put it in like that and you don't want to suffocate it, it's just because fire needs oxygen. And that allows the oxygen to get in there and not suffocate it and push out all that oxygen. Fire needs three things: oxygen, friction to start it, and then also like the fuel, so something to burn. It's like a living, almost breathing kind of creature. That's why we're always mesmerized by it. It collapsed, and that's okay. I think these pieces of wood are burning pretty good. You can always adjust a little. So obviously these little sticks are burning now. It's not a mystery. They're on fire. And it's going pretty great. So I'm gonna step it up a little bit to these bigger sticks. And it just depends. Some of these are still pretty wet. Some of them are dry. They're not huge, but we're working with what we have. So you don't want to overdo it. So I'd say maybe 2, maybe 3, because you still want to keep the pyramid idea going, because it still needs oxygen. And we'll put this over that. And don't panic if it's not perfect. And then we'll put one on this side. Oh, there it went. That's okay. And that is how you build a fire.